Hello friends, this is Raj Sastry from Raj Option Trading. Today is April 9, 2022. Let's take a look at top stocks with a heavy short ratio. When there is a very high short ratio, if you pick the stocks right, they can go high very quickly. So the trick is to pick the right stock. We'll walk through those. So with that, today we'll look at market update, look at top ETFs by volume, look at heavily shorted stocks with a low RSI, positive gross margin and volume more than 1 billion shares. This is where I pick most of my short squeeze candidates. And then finally, let's look at stocks with a high short ratio and volume more than 1 million shares. So with that, let's jump in. Look, from a news perspective, we got Feds raising the interest rate. That can help with the inflation, but the strategy could fail, sending general stock market down and also some great companies to fail. And we got here interest rate surge is starting to ripple through the economy, and we got homes, car loans, and various industries are really suffering at these levels. We'll see how it goes. And then we got SEC, they're threatening to delist 5 Chinese companies here. The first one is a US company with a lot of Chinese exposure, which is ACMR. We got BGNE, HUTCHMED, Yum China and Zylabs. Most of these are down big time because of the threat here, and we got to watch them carefully. And many of them have got high short ratio. And then you got Chinese electric vehicle makers. They plunge because there is some delisting fear for NIO, XPAV, and Li. We got to be careful here and watch them carefully. And from a market perspective, we got here one-day chart. Look, in one day, Dow Jones Industrial Average went higher by 137, went up nicely in the beginning of the day on Friday, but then it kind of sort of came down slightly, as you see here. Whereas Nasdaq looks like there's a good sector rotation. It came down big time. Look, Nasdaq in one day on Friday came down by 186 points here, and S&P 500 also down here big time, 11 points down. So market is really diverging here. The big industrials are going higher, but the high growth names like Nasdaq and many of S&P 500, they're coming down big time. So with that, we got to be careful. Don't chase the market. If you like some great Nasdaq names and even S&P 500 names, it's okay to pick it up. That's how you make money. If you chase, then you don't make too much money. But if you buy some great Nasdaq names and S&P 500 names, I'd been buying QQQ also, and some great names like Nvidia, you could slowly buy, no need to rush. That will give you a nice profit as these stocks come up with vengeance. All right, so let's jump in here and take a look at the market. And we got at the top, we got 3-month chart here, 1 day 3-month chart. Look, market is really volatile, coming down big time, going up, coming down. It's a trader's paradise here. You can make a lot of money trading, even these big ETFs like DIA, QQQ, and IWM, SPY. I've been taking advantage by trading QQQ. That's a very good vehicle. It comes up and down big time here. You could make a lot of money, and if you're a little more savvy, you could even trade the NQ, which is the future. But you got to be careful here because the downside is more, because upside is also more. And if you look at the 5-year chart here, all these stock markets are doing great. 5-year nice uptrend here. That's why don't worry too much when the market comes down like this. Keep buying your favorite stocks and your favorite ETFs slowly. Buy maybe 2, 3, 5, no matter, but keep buying as they come down. When they go up with a vengeance here, like you see here, you'll make nice profit. All right, let's look at few more updates here and go from there. Look, we got here S&P 500, nice 3-year chart. In a 3-year chart, S&P 500 overall has done nicely. Look, nice uptick here. And along the way, we got some bumps. All these are good buying opportunities. And we got here SKEW. SKEW is one of my favorite indicator. I watch this very carefully. When the SKEW is high, like right here and right here, watch out. This is pre-COVID. When the SKEW is high, it gives a heads up. Hey, market is going to drop off. It does drop off promptly. Look, SKEW is high here. Market dropped off slightly. and skew is became high here, market dropped off. That's your Q here, market might fall off. Right now skew is 141 here. I'm not too much worried. The moment skew goes above 150, I'll be slightly careful. And for the folks who are selling put options and looking at high volatility strategies, you got to be implementing those when the skew is down, especially when the skew is below 140. That's when you start doing your high premium strategies, because volatility is typically high when the skew is below 140 or so. And then you got VIX here. VIX is going down here. Look, nice downturn here. That tells you even though market is selling off, VIX is sort of stabilizing here. So you don't need to worry too much about market going down, because VIX is saying, hey, don't worry, it's kind of under control here. All right, now let's look at fear and greed index. From a fear and greed index perspective, look, 1 month ago we were in the extreme fear at 18 here. Right now we are at 48. I can see us going back to around 20 levels here. You will see some market dropping off here. A lot of people are having money in the sideline. They're waiting for VIX. They're waiting for the fear and greed index to come down to extreme fear, and then they will put the money in the market and make some quick money. That's how it's set up here. Great trader market here. All right, now let's look at top ETFs by volume. Look, from an ETF perspective, we got mother of all ETF, which is S&P 500 ETF. Look, right now it's not yet in the correction territory, slightly down 6.8%. And look, IV percentile is 37. That tells you could make some good money selling put options. And look, from a QQQ on the other hand, it's in the correction territory already. This is one of my favorite ETFs to trade. Goes up and down very nicely. You could make some good money. Look, down 14%. It's in a correction territory. And keep watching 1 day, 5 day, 10 day here. You know, most of these high growth names are coming off slightly, but the names like energy here and precious metal like silver, gold, they're going up. So market is diverging here. Money is going out of high growth type names, high risk names, to low risk names like gold, precious metals, silver, and even healthcare as an example. Look, XLV here, healthcare, that's also doing very well. Folks are going into little more safe haven defensive names like XLV, like XLP, which is consumer staples, and shying away from high growth names like QQQ, SMH, which is semiconductor, and so on and so forth. Look, gold has done nicely of late, up nicely. That's where people flock into when they're worried about the market. And look here, GLD is also done very well. On the other hand, Chinese names are not doing well. Look at FXI here, Chinese ETF. Even though it did well on Friday slightly, but overall, look, Chinese ETF is down 32% from 1 year high. And we got one more Chinese ETF here, KWeb. It's the Chinese internet names. Look, it's down big time here, down 63% from 52-week high. You got to be careful with Chinese ETF. One of the good strategies to buy FXI when it rolls over, because it's one of the great big cap ETF here. You'll make some good money when it bounces back. It's one of the proven strategies to buy FXI when the market rolls over. You know, relatively low price, as you can see here. All right, so let's jump in and look at stocks with a heavy short ratio. To begin with, we look at stock with a heavy short ratio and positive gross margin, low RSI, actually less than 50, and volume more than 1 million shares traded, Altman-Z score more than 1.8. That tells you these are financially stable companies. You don't need to worry about any financial bankruptcy. These companies will do well. And current ratio is more than 1 in many of these names. And we'll go from there. All right, now we got the list here. Look, we got a short ratio. Keep watching the short ratio here, short float, all nice and high. So that tells you short sellers are breathing down these companies' neck here. That's why short ratio is nice and high. And keep watching here, we got gross margin. All these companies have got nice gross margin here. Bottom line perspective, companies are doing very well. And we got current ratio. Most of these companies have got nice current ratio with a couple of them below 1. I would be a little bit careful when the current ratio is below 1. That tells you they got some issue meeting short-term financial obligations. I like the ones with the higher current ratio. And if you're a conservative investor and trader, keep watch on the net margin. If when the net margin is positive, you could be a little more assured these companies will do well. For example, BTBT. It's down big time, as you can see here. Net margin is positive, so you could slowly buy companies like this when it's battered down big time like this. If you have some patience, you could make some good money. When the crypto comes back with vengeance, BTBT will do well. And similarly, we got few more with the nice net margin positive here. Look, we got one more Workhorse. Even though the revenue number, sales number is low, its sales is -1 here. That's why it's inflated. I would not go with this number here. When your sales is negative, any increase in sales will come up with a nice net margin. I would not go too much into this Workhorse here. And we got few more here. TIGR, it's also a net margin positive. I would look for such candidates. And finally, look at the overall score here. Higher the better. We got one with the nice and very high score here, which is the Dix Perdingers. I would be buying in such names. Look at 93 score. Very good score here. Generally, when the score is higher, look, we got one more here, which is BTBT, high score here. You could 55. You could look at such names. And if you're a conservative investor, keep a watch on the free cash flow here. If the free cash flow is positive or negative but not so much, you could look at such names here. For example, we got Rite Aid. Rite Aid has got positive free cash flow here. That tells you there is some hope in Rite Aid. This can go higher. Promptly it went higher in 1 day here, up 7%. And we got a few more with the positive cash flow here. We got Chewy here, slight positive cash flow. You could look at such names here. They tend to do a little bit better. And we got a few more with positive cash flow here. We got Wayfair, one of my favorite here, also positive cash flow. You could look at such names. They will do very well. And we got one more nice free cash flow here, which is, let's see here, one of these two. Let's see. Yeah, ATUS, nice free cash flow. You could look at that one also. And last but not least, we got one more. I think it's a Dick's Sporting Goods, very high free cash flow. And one more thing I would generally look at is always look at 1 day, 5 day, 10 day. If the stocks show some movement, positive movement in 1 day, 5 day, 10 day, that's when you slightly go and pounce on those. For example, Camping World here, CHWY. Look, it's showing some positive trend here in 1 day. That tells you stock is ready to turn around. You could go after such names here. We got few more like that. Look at, we got Rite Aid here, same story, trying to go higher in 1 day. You could take a look at such companies and slowly put some money. All these have got low RSI. You don't need to worry. Stocks are beaten down, so you could slowly put some money after good ones. Keep watching 1 day, 5 day as usual. If they're making some progress, that's when you can put some money. And then finally, look at what institutions are doing, what insiders are doing. When insiders and institutions are buying, that's when you put money. Look, we got Rite Aid, we got even HRTX, Heron. All these places, insiders and investors are putting their money. That's why those are the good ones here. And even BTBT. Look, investors are buying BTBT. Institutions are buying BTBT. That's a good one here. Same story with Workhorse. I would look for what insiders are doing, what institutions are doing. If they're putting money, I would go after those, like Workhorse, like ATUS as an example, and even Spice is also okay. Virgin Galactic. Look, institutions are buying, but on the other hand, I think it neutralizes. Insiders are selling. Not a great story here. So Asana CEO and founder has been buying, off late. This also is a good trading vehicle here. They tend to go up and down very much. You could buy Asana when they're down a lot. They tend to go up when the general market goes higher. And we got a few more names here. AMRS. Look, we got nice institution and insider buy here. Skills, looks like Skills also has got some groove back here with the insiders and institutions buying. That's how I would look at these names here and put some money after the good candidates. All right, the list continues. We'll not look at all this carefully. you can look through this here, follow same methodology, look at insider and institutions, and go after names like GitLab here. One of my favorite. Look what's going on here. GitLab, insiders are buying, institutions are buying, and stock is down. This is where I put my money here. This is a good one to buy here. They will do great. Altman-Z score is good here. They're not losing too much money, just 75 million in trading 12 months. You could look at such names and buy them. And I got a few more here. Clean Spark comes to mind. Look, we got both insiders and institutions buying. You could go after Clean Spark and buy some Clean Spark here, down big time, as you can see here. Clean Spark right now, Altman-Z score is good here. That tells you you don't need to worry about any bankruptcy here. And we got a few more here. We got Riot Blockchain here. Even though insiders are selling, not too much, but institutions are buying. You could go after this one. Nice overall score. Even AEO, nice overall score. You could look at such companies with nice overall score here. And we got a few more here. We got look, we got GoCo here, nice insider buy. You could look at that one also here. And we got a few more here. Look, we got Stitch Fix. Looks like both insiders as well as institutions buying. You could look at those names here. And finally, look at what companies are doing in 1 day, 5 day. If they're going up, go after those, put some money there and go from there. And if you're a conservative investor, look at the free cash flow here. You don't want companies to lose too much money. You want them to lose less money, like the one here, Be Big, not losing too much money, or even the one right here, not losing too much money. But see, if the company is having free cash flow positive, those are the good ones here. You could buy them. For example, Global Foundries, I would be buyer of this one here. Look, they got a nice cash in the balance sheet, $2.9 billion free cash flow positive. I would look at such names here. They will typically come back with a vengeance. All right, so if you're a conservative investor, also look at net margin here. If you go after net margin positive companies like Canadian Pacific, that can do well for you in the long run, even though there is some short-term trouble. And we got a few more here with net margin positive, a WW, net margin positive, and we got overstock.com, which is also net margin positive. Overstock.com is very volatile. I love the stock. It comes up and down nicely. When it's down like this, you could buy slowly and accumulate. All right, so we got now we got the list here with the stocks with a heavy short ratio, volume more than 1 million. Otherwise, it's not filtered. You got to apply your filters before you go through this list and buy carefully. All right, so now look the list here. All these stocks have got very high short ratio. We don't have any filters like gross margin or RSI. That's why it's a wild west here. Look, RSI, we got all sorts of RSI, some high, some low. You got to be careful. And then finally, as usual, look at what insiders are doing, what institutions are doing, and go accordingly. And also look at both free cash flow, cash on the hand or cash in the balance sheet, and Altman-Z score. And finally, you want the higher overall score. All right, let me bring this a little bit to the right, left here. Okay, let's go through some of these names here. All right, so my favorites are ones where institutions are buying and insiders are buying. Like we talked about Rite Aid, BTBT, we talked through those already. We got a few more here, ESPR and GoCo. You could go after those ones also. We got ATUS, we talked about that. You could look at such names here. When the RSI is high, for example, HYMC, I would not go after this. When the RSI is high, you already know the moves are made here. It's already went up nicely. That's why I would not go after the ones which already have gone so much up here. That tells you short squeeze is done at this time. Time to move on. But on the other hand, if the stock is showing some slight movement in 1 day, 5 day, not too much, that's where you can put your money here and go after the ones with a little bit higher overall score. I would say maybe more than double digits. And on the other hand, also look at free cash flow, like we talked about. Positive free cash flow, the better. And the list continues. Some of the stocks I like for the trading are like CHWY here. It's a very good trading vehicle. Right now it's down big time, but it's time to put some money slowly. It can come back with vengeance. Look at 1 day, 5 day here. If it's making little progress in 1 day, 5 day, that's when you can start putting your money and go from there. All right, so we got continuation here. Look, we got a high short ratio, sorted by short ratio in a descending order. You could look at some of these names. Keep watch on insider and institutions here. Some companies have got nice insider institution buy. Look here, we got Arrival. Arrival is a EV stock, as many of you know here. Look, institutions are buying a lot of shares here. You could slowly put some money here. High short ratio, stock is not responding yet, but this can respond as you go forward. And then we got Asana, we talked about this already. And we got a few more names like AMRS. We got insider buying, institution buying. And look, we got APPH, App Harvest, same story. Institutions are buying. Keep watch on 1 day, 5 day, 10 day here. If the stock has already made its move, like the one right here, BFRI, I would not put my money here. Time to move on. But if the stock is slowly responding, like even the one OOF here, you could put some money here. OOF, I would say I would not put my money because RSI is high. I want the RSI to be lower to put my money, below 50 or so. All right, so let's look at a few more here and go from there. Look, list continues. Look at the short ratio here, all nice and high short ratio. Look what insiders are doing, what institutions are doing. You want them to be buying. For example, you got GitLab here. I would put my money here slowly. This will do well. And we got a few more candidates. Even VXRT looks like even the insiders are selling, institutions are buying big time. That's a good story here. And keep watch on 1 day, 5 day, 10 day. If the stock has moved on, like the one right here, SBFM, I would not put my money here. Look, it has done nice return here. RSI 69 tells you it's oversold here. I would not overbought here. I would not put my money here. On the other hand, if it's making a small move like big, you could put your money here with the RSI lower, and you could look at other candidates which are making small move. Even SCIN could be okay here, made small move here, but RSI is still below 50. That could be okay also. All right, so let's keep going here. Thank you very much. Happy investing and trading. Please subscribe.